What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mouse Clicks and Joysticks, episode 11. Yeah, this is 11. Even though if you count the E3 stuff, it's probably episode 25 or something like that. Because, good lord, Micheal broadcasting this week, and this should be my final broadcast this week. I'm so happy in a way. As much as I love doing this stuff, I'm just tired. Anyway. I'm here with my co-host, Eurostrix. Say what's up to the people.
Hola, mi amigo, ¿cómo está?
Gesundheit. Anyway. So, this show is just basically to wrap up our thoughts on E3.
It was the worst year ever.
Clearly, if you listen to the internet, it's always the worst year. Yeah, especially for Microsoft. Microsoft, once again, got hammered, killed, whatever you want to call it. Sony won't let Microsoft live and all that stuff. Yeah, that's just the narrative that you're gonna get. Sorry, but anyway. So, got 3 questions that I want to go through, and then we will pretty much wrap this up. First question is, what stood out the most to you from this E3?
That's a really difficult question because I think there's a lot of different phrasing, a lot of different ways you could phrase it or ways you.
Okay, well, let's just go from what we saw in the conferences alone because we still have E3 going on. By the way,
I'm gonna remove one thing as an option.
What's that? Oh, you're gonna remove Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, because that's like actually not a fair.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's not a fair. Like it's the idea of like. It's a game that's been running for that long. Most surprising or most, I guess, eye-catching thing. And it has to be in the conferences. Oh God. I mean, I honestly,
this is reviewing the conferences right now.
It's just as much low-hanging fruit, but I think the one that, barring Kingdom Hearts, had the most impact on me is because I've been playing Destiny a lot. That trailer, because it changes the tone of the game. If we're talking something new, then probably Cyberpunk. I'm trying to think what was else. The conference that just blew me away. It caught me like off guard to the point where I was like, "Yo, that's just amazing." I don't know, because like I'm trying to think. It's really hard. Oh, I guess the biggest thing, Sea of Solitude. I really want to play that game now.
Yeah, I like that lady. That lady was good at selling that. Just like dude who was back for Fate. What's it called?
Unravel.
Unravel 2.
Yeah, he
sold that very well. She sold that very well, and I'm very interested in seeing what that is. Definitely. And I shouldn't have framed the question as one. Did I say one thing? I shouldn't say one thing.
What? I mean, at that point, there's so many things
stood out to you the most overall.
I think that's the thing is like being new games, old games, everything kind of had a little bit of an impact this year. As like something I was previously or am interested in. There were so many different things that, you know, I could like buy into and really enjoy. What about you?
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
There's a lot.
Keep going.
Yeah, no.
You can keep going.
For me, there's a lot of things too. Like you were saying, for the things that are coming out that we already knew about, I think Spider-Man made the biggest impression because, good lord, I wasn't expecting that. Like I've seen some clips of the combat and small stuff from the Game Informer articles, but I wasn't expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a lot at once, and it just was like that was crazy. I've also been sitting here trying to speculate on who the fuck that was that he saw. And my speculation is, of course, it's either Norman or Harry. It's one of the Osborns. I feel like because he seemed shocked to see that person there. And
then I would say it would probably be Harry. I think Hobgoblin over Green would be more shocking. But I still don't think. Do you think that he's the boss they're talking about? Because even part of me doesn't feel like that's true.
No, I don't think he's the boss.
Just the sixth Sinister person.
Yeah. I think he's just one of the Sinister Six, yeah. In the game, that is. Because you never really know at this point. They have pretty good leaks. Only, I mean, what's the name of the studio? I just forgot their name. That sucks. Insomniac. They have leeway. So, we'll see. But no, that, like, the combat, the fluidity, all that stuff was just ridiculous. So that stood out. Probably stuff that I knew that stood out too, of course. Glad to see Cyberpunk. You know, they gave us a pulse, y'all. So, you know, we have something to go on. I'm not gonna be here losing my shit over just a CG trailer, but
it's the worst stuff they've been saying afterwards. Like some of the interviews about Cyberpunk, are really like it's really interesting. All the stuff that is being said about it.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to catch any of the interviews, so I'm very curious.
One thing that's catching a lot of people off guard is, it's a first-person RPG, is how they're describing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that I wasn't expecting.
It's a RPG with shooter elements, not the other way around.
Okay. I wonder what made them want to change perspectives.
And that's what a lot of people like are automatically jumping to like making declarations. And I think one thing in that teaser that they were kind of big on was that they were approaching it with the same level of care and dedication, and we're going to take the same approach they did with Witcher, where they're not going to put it out till they feel it is 100%.
I have no problem with that. I mean, I don't need it right now. It's just good to know that we have some concrete material to go off, other than it's coming. But yeah, no, I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out. I'm not huge on first-person RPGs, but that's because I hate to say it, but that's because of Bethesda, probably. But nah, I'm still very interested in that. What else was there? New stuff that interests me? Well, Control, of course. That was like, okay. Very curious to see what Remedy is doing now that they're no longer just going exclusive. It's been a while since they've not been exclusive.
I think it'll be cool. It still looks in line with a lot of the other games especially like Quantum Break. Like this looks.
Yeah, it's because everybody thought that was Quantum Break.
I think what got me was watching it and how it didn't look like a. And it is a multi-plat for those out there that are wondering. But it is. It didn't have like the time bending stuff. It looked too like magical. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it didn't look like she was just stopping and starting time. It looked like she was just, I don't know, able to control
telekinetic type stuff, where she's like throwing and moving stuff around versus just like this grenade does this thing and it stops.
Right. Yeah, no. That looked very, very interesting. I was quite pleasantly surprised to see the Resident Evil 2 thing, especially since I had just recently listened to a podcast where somebody bitched and moaned about why they don't have that out yet. And
I thought that was like a pretty heavy rumor. Like that it was.
Well, the thing is, it's been such a big break between the Resident Evil one.
Mm-hmm.
remake in this that I guess people thought like,
That's what I still don't get that. Like, because what came out last year? The thing came out last year, right?
what, 7?
7? Yeah, 7 came out last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I think they're hit the formula of like old game, new game, old game now, and we'll see if they drop another new game.
But yeah, it's like people were just, I don't know. I really don't understand why that was the narrative. That's why when I was listening to that thing, I was like, they probably will do one. It's not that big of a deal, but I guess it was a bigger deal than I thought. And now you have it, so you're welcome. It looks great. You know, other than that, like honestly, I can't think of anything. Like there was stuff that I saw that looked good, that looked interesting, but I think those were the biggest, like the most impact. Well, in the Smash thing, the whole like they're gonna put all the characters in Smash and seeing the internet go nuts over that. That was kind of fun to see.
I love the meme follow up where like the creator now is just the entire thing of saying, "Don't ask me for anything."
Basically,
y'all got what y'all wanted. Now leave me all alone.
Yeah, that was pretty much the summation of the whole Smash presentation. It was like, good, you happy? Fine, shut up. And then they gave you your release date too, so now you can extra shut up.
much like every other thing, there are going to be people that complain about this.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. There will be people complaining. Who is sending me messages?
Who indeed?
No one. This Twitch let me know that someone's live streaming.
I really wish I could go back. Like my old Twitch account still sends me a bunch of emails daily about people going live, and I just haven't gone in to turn them all off.
You know what's funny is that this probably is a delayed message because Alexa. How are you doing?
I'm feeling really groovy. Got some rhymes flowing through me.
You just did that to show off now.
No, because I said her name. I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to have to talk to her because I didn't mean to say her name. But she indicated, like, my Echo device alerts me when somebody goes live. So, like, when you go live late at night, that thing's going off next to my bed because it's on my nightstand.
G-Roostrix has gone live.
Well, at least she doesn't say it. But she gives a like you get a sound alert and she lights up, and then I'm calling it she. It's an Echo Spot. This is what happens when you're with AI.
It's a
goddamn
it's a she.
Fucking Detroit Become Human, which I saw your tweet and I know how you feel. You don't want to stop that game.
I started how long late? I started at 11:30 last night, 11:30ish, and went till 2 last night. I mean, I can give the brief thoughts of the writing is not amazing, but the gameplay is compelling.
Yes. It's a compelling enough premise, and the gameplay and the choices that you're given help to me. Also, the impact of it, the fact that you go back and you see this tree and you actually get to see a like true like model of how much this stuff is actually playing.
I just wish some of the stuff wasn't on the nose.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. It's like it's David Cage, of course, it's on the nose. He doesn't him and subtlety are not matched well because he needs you to know like he's aware of these things.
Kanye West of gaming,
except
definitely not as. You know what? We're not going to go down that path.
At least I enjoy his stuff as time goes on. As with the other one, I hate his stuff more because it gets worse as time goes on. Anyway, continue.
Kanye's has had stuff that could possibly be placed in the Hall of Fame. David Cage has
that was about 4 or 5 years ago. Now,
anyway, higher highs, and much more terrifying lows. I'll take it. But no, the game's cool. The game is cool. It's interesting. That was the one thing that was constantly taking me out of it is because of the writing, the choices are also way more extreme. It's like it feels like because of the way that he set up the game, the choices had to be more extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So like it might say like happy. God damn, am I happy that you're a piece of shit? And I'm like, I didn't know. Wait, no, that's not. Why are you going that? No, I wanted you to be happy. But I feel like because otherwise the choices are very blatant.
I feel like once you get deeper into it, there's more nuance. Especially since the situation's kind of.
See, but that's something like so. I've met 3 characters now.
Yeah, you should have. If you've only played with 2.5 hours, so yeah, you should be through the intro stage now.
I have played each character 2 to 3 times.
Yeah, that's about the intro stage. Yeah.
I know where one dude's story is going, even without the.
Okay, so where did you finish? Because I think you're not.
Our favorite African American getting blamed for something.
Oh, so you really haven't hit anything? Okay.
No, that's what I mean. Like I know that everybody's story still was just getting set up.
Yeah, so you definitely are just in the.
So like if I were to say each character, interrogation, bus ride.
Yeah, like I said, no, you're
blame.
so like no, you're so not like you have yet to hit stuff where
I've been playing kind of slow. Like I haven't been rushing to a lot of the decisions. Most of the stuff most of the times when I look at trees, I'm hitting. I think most of my trees have been like to the upper like 80 percentile type, like stuff I've available to do.
I will be interested. I'm interested to see how your path goes with the girl because her paths are hard to get that, but
are hard to get.
A lot like to get over half of the stuff that's there because there's a lot of stuff with her, especially as time goes on. Hers expands like
I get it gets like ridiculous. If I were to talk about them, the girl seems like it's going to be the most complicated.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
the guy that I finished with last time, I know where his story is going. And
who are you talking about? The black guy, Marcus? Yeah, his story is probably the most obvious.
Like coming in because it's weird because like the interaction you have in his second scene.
Although
when you get back to the house, it kind of again it's the on the nose stuff.
Yeah, I think it's set on the similar path. I just think that you're gonna kind of like I don't know because I haven't made choices, but I felt like immediately this is basically Infamous. He's the Infamous character.
So I can ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. What did you do with Marcus? What did you do to buy time?
For
like, when you served him breakfast, and then he says you just wait. What did you choose to do? Because I know you could read. Like I read a book.
Yeah, I did a couple of things, including the book. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I only had the chance to read the book.
And I think so now we know the book is the trigger because I did a couple of things before I got to the book, and then the trigger happened.
Which book did you pick?
Oh gosh, do you remember the choices?
Shakespeare, Plato, and
I feel like there was a more modern title, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a third one whose name I didn't immediately recognize.
I think that's the one I picked. Yeah, I think I picked that. I didn't pick Plato or Shakespeare. I picked the other choice.
Hold on. I'm going very quickly to a scene where I can just Keats odes. Keats
yeah, odes. I picked Keats because I was like, oh, Keats. They have this in there. That's interesting because I've heard of Keats.
I picked for obvious reasons. I picked Plato because of the nature of the game. And then they were like, oh yeah, I read Plato's Republic. I'm like,
you'd be surprised if you picked up Keats. You would have been like, yeah, because pretty much everything he probably picked is just again, it's spot on.
Yeah, that's what the issue is like, this would be great if I had never seen anything about AI.
Because the poem that he got for Keats wasn't a like romantic poem. It was one of his more deeper ones.
And then like that scene, just the way it progresses. Like it's The acting kind of carries a lot of the stuff, even though the writing can be a little bit, like you know where it's going.
Yeah.
Fuck the sun. Just gonna toss that out there.
So you just met the son. That's all you've done.
No, I've I met the son, and then the next scene.
Oh, that's right. You said that you had he got in trouble, right?
Yeah. So the next scene with the son. So you meet the son after you go into the art studio, and then the son is a dick. Which immediately brings up to me so many questions about how the world works.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything except for the world is pretty damn cool. It actually, I mean, again, for something so spot on, it still has a way of making you think. And I can't wait till you get to the survey.
I will see. We'll see.
I want to know what you pick.
People in chat, my chat was all over the place with people asking questions and people wanting. And I told people up front that I'm going to play this game the first time through the way that I would play it, which I tend to play things in character where possible. So for me, ultimately, Marcus as an example, when you're given a choice to do one of two things in that last scene that I was talking about, I felt
militant, didn't you?
Huh?
You went militant, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of people in my chat were telling me to, but I'm not that person. I also wouldn't do
I
that.
always play it like me. Yeah, I make the first run. I'm going to play like me.
And
although
then
I will say this, since I played the demo, that first scenario, I changed some things up.
So, all right. So I don't mind talking about that first scenario because that first scenario was also, it was the Paris Games Week one, right? It was Gamescom.
They showed it off. Week one, it was the demo. So
yeah,
spoilers for anybody who doesn't know that this thing that has existed for over a year.
So what was your ending on that?
I pretty okay. So when I did the demo, I got 100%. I talked dude down and then they shot him up.
Okay.
Second time, it was the same thing, except for I tweaked certain things because I went and saved the cop. I gave him the tourniquet. I was like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna save him." Some of the answers I changed.
I didn't know that. I realized after the fact, apparently I could save the cop. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, if you could walk over to the cop and you could check him and you could see he needs medical attention, you're like, "I need to apply a tourniquet," and he's like, "Don't touch him." And then you have the choice of not. The first time I was like, "Okay, I'm not going to antagonize this dude because I'm trying to talk him down and get everybody out the safe." The problem is that when you plan a demo, I figured if I get the 100% confidence, he'd be safe, everybody be safe, but no. They just mowed his ass down anyway. Yeah. After he let go of the girl. But I 100% got his confidence, his trust, saved the cop, saved the girl. Did everything pretty much efficiently. I think I only missed 2 or 3 things, which is probably shoot him, and it's probably shoot him or die because there's one scenario where you can die in it. That character can actually die right off the bat.
So I thought I killed him. First dude, immediately. The way mine ended was the run for the girl.
But no, I know about him not spoiling anything, but I've died with Connor before, so I know what you mean.
Yeah, so the ending, I believe they had the ending. It was the same one they had for Paris Games Week, I believe, where ultimately, I actually think what happened. I'm trying to remember. Did he shoot himself? No. Yes. I don't know. He let go of he was gonna fall off the building, and I ran. I saved the girl, but I fell with him.
Yeah,
and then it had the little icon for death, and I was like, Nani?
No.
Because everybody was saying like, "Rip, you kill." I'm like, "There's no way they would let you kill him that early." And then I was like, "But it's David Cage, and yes, he would let you kill him that early." Fuck you, David Cage. And then randomly, he comes back up. So I did.
But now you see his death has a weighted thing to it, though.
Okay. Yeah, there's this thing that keeps popping up about
because when he came back, did he just come back?
Yeah, like he just popped up in the when you
okay, go so you don't know. Okay. Good. You don't know then.
The only thing
I'll tell you after the podcast if you want to know, but you actually don't know the secret behind him. There's something like that's actually very clever because in my scenario where I died with him, I decided to kind of go off my normal script and just try to like let me play bad cop in the situation, and I fucked it up. And then he came back, and then when you do that, there's a big reveal about him.
So I have a theory, but I'll talk again with you off the podcast.
Yeah, and I'll see what you think.
That immediately, like a couple of lines of dialogue, have led me to a certain opinion, and then beyond that, like there's this thing that keeps popping up on the top of the screen, which is software instability or whatever the fuck, and I keep wondering what the fuck. But the game is
that's you messing up. That's you. That's your character. Going what's his name? Like they were talking about how that's your character changing. Is what that basically the first scene? What the first scene? Yeah, because what the first scene represents is what could happen to one of these people if they go this route.
And all the situations.
And that's why you keep seeing that in your head.
So yeah, like overall, like it feels like all three characters have that scenario where there's like this extreme situation, or especially Connor's been put in some situations where it feels like because of the nature of what type of android he is.
I can't think of her name, but I feel like she had the most biggest moment. Like clearly that's what he intended for you to do with her. I'm curious to see what happens when
I didn't, man. Let's not even talk about like the moment Kara started. I was like, I don't like this dude.
I love the fact that they had you that did okay. When you heard the girl scream, what was the first thing you did?
So I want to clarify. So he, again, not spoilers.
This was in E3. This was actually at E3.
There was a trailer, and this was the controversy about, and I think we even did an episode on this where we talked about. Yeah. But there was a controversy about domestic violence, basically.
Yeah, it was gameplay. It was gameplay at Gamescom.
This thing happened.
PlayStation.
The girl ran upstairs, and despite my chat yelling at me, I stood there for a long ass time. I was like, "All right, cool."
Really?
Now I want to look when he hit the girl, and the girl ran upstairs, whatever. And I was like, "All right, I don't want what I think is going to happen is things are going to get a lot worse if I move." The moment he took off his belt and started to walk upstairs is the moment where I was like, all right, fuck this.
Okay, it's funny. I waited a little longer. I was like...
And because the idea to me was like, what I saw was why I was like, because everybody's like, yo, go, 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 go. I'm like, he's still standing right here. If I move now, he's going to beat my ass and then beat hers.
No, I waited slightly longer.
People were like, oh, he's smoking. He's smoking. You can go now. I'm like, no, let him get fucking high. Let him do his.
Oh, so you waited until the whole scenario was over.
I waited until he walked. He was walking up the stairs.
Screamed. I hit the button, just hit the stick. It was like an instant thing. Yeah. Like I hit the stick, and all of a sudden you just saw her shatter. And like, yeah. I'm not gonna like. As soon as I heard that little girl scream, but that's because probably something that I did probably different. Did you find the gun?
No.
That's why I ran because I knew I can go. If you would have like while you were cleaning. If you would have went through all the drawers, you would have saw he had a handgun. So when I heard her scream, the first thing I did was I didn't run to her room. I ran to his room, got his gun, it went after him.
See, he did more of the red eyes or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Okay.
And he went upstairs. Like he just had a belt in his hand. And like at this point, like the moment he hit the landing of the steps and started to go up, I was like, all right, cool. He's not looking at me anymore. I'm gonna come up behind him and knock him the fuck out. Like that was the entire plan. Was like
you push him downstairs.
No, so what he did was he got all the way upstairs because I didn't realize like it was a multiple step process to break through. Like I didn't realize that. I was like,
see the screen go crazy.
I literally was like, all I got to do is press the button and I'll move.
Nope.
And then I was like, fuck. I'm like, all right, cool. You break free. I take off upstairs after him. He gets in the room, and basically I turn the corner just as you say, like you hear like, no daddy, stop, no daddy, stop. And I just turn into the room. And then I would like, stop. And I just say something. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I told you not to move, blah, blah, order. And then we get into a fight. I think he hit me like once or twice. Not tired.
No, I went, like I said, I got his gun and I came in. And he was like, what the fuck are you doing? But he was at what the fuck are you doing at the barrel of a gun. Then we scrapped a little bit and I shot the shit out of that motherfucker. That's what
I didn't shoot the he.
So
punched,
did he live?
Yes.
Oh shit, he dead. Mine. You lucky. I'm
So
running for murder.
So he
get on you. You're not.
So he no. Well, what he did was he put his arm. Let me see. How did it end the fight? We fought upstairs. I got the girl. I could have gone out to the backyard and done the front door. I fucked up, and like I fucked up with the locks because god damn are some of those fucking my brothers asked me a question. Detroit Become Human. All right, cool. All right. I ran downstairs. The first lock is easy. The second lock is like a full circle, and I fucked it up. So the dude came down and like caught me, and like I dodged. All right, cool. Then, I'm trying to think. How did he get blood on his head? He ended up with like bleeding from his head, and his hand was bleeding because he punched through the window. Because basically the entire time I'm dodging and ducking, getting out of the fucking way. And ultimately we get out to the backyard. You know, by the time he was coming downstairs, he was pretty fucked up. Like he hurt himself trying to hit me.
So he lived. Oh, you let him live.
And
let Todd live.
Well, I ran out of because ultimately, like my idea was in the situation. My situation was not eliminating him as a threat. It was getting the girl and the robot out of the situation. Because I already knew like he was gonna break the fucking robot just as easily as he was gonna like beat the girl. Because that's how the entire thing started, with him saying like, oh, it got hit by a car or something. I'm like, all right, I know exactly what type of person you are.
Todd had to go.
And so like we went over the back fence. Like because like it's the idea of I didn't want to shoot. I didn't want to front door. I didn't want to shoot the guy in front of the girl either. Like I don't want to kill the dude. Like,
oh no, I murdered him from
trauma. But yeah, like so because I fucked up with the door. Because I fucked up with the door and he caught me. He ended up chasing. We went out the backyard. I put her over the fence, and then we climbed over the fence, ran out to the front just as the bus was pulling up, and jumped on the bus and rode off. And that's where that's actually
Todd is still alive.
That's where I start today.
You should let Todd die.
I didn't know there was no way for me to kill him. Like actually, there was no. I didn't have anything.
Yeah, no. If you were cleaning up, you could have I was looking through all his shit.
I was well, and for me, it was because I was kind of on edge because of the drugs and like the very like temperamental nature of his mentality.
Very, very deep because you could find so much stuff in hers.
So like the mentality or whatever of Todd. I wanted to be like, I was being very quick because I'm like, all right, I'm just looking for an out. The situation's gonna go bad. I'm just like caring about what's the out. Like I was opening windows, making sure all that shit was up, ready to go. And like the entire time, I'm just thinking about, yo, I need to get out of this fucking building as fast as possible when shit goes bad. But I also felt like if you killed him, it's gonna make life so much more difficult. It's really
you ain't never lie there, sir.
It's really, to me, it's far easier for me to be like he gave me the order to protect his daughter. He was hitting her. I got his daughter out of the dangerous situation and ran away. I also did not throw a punch at him. The most I did was like kick a chair at him.
Shit.
Like 100, because my chat started off being like, hey yo, you can't do this pacifist. I'm like, but that's how I mostly play these games. I try to talk down every situation humanly possible.
Good on you.
Same with Marcus, and then with Connor, the interrogation scene. That's the one that fucked me up.
Did you die during the interrogation?
I didn't.
Okay.
But black dude did.
Yeah, well,
because the other dude,
spoiler alert, he's gonna die anyway.
I was telling the black dude, I was like, "Hey, yo," I was like, "Oh, the other cop, like, yo, chill, back off." Dude was like, "Shut the fuck up." I was like, "Yo, chill." Dude was like, "What did I fucking tell you? Shut the fuck up. I got this." And then I was like, "I should say it again." And then I was like, "You know what? This is gonna implode." I did my due diligence trying to I want to help the black dude out. The black dude wasn't in the wrong. The black android. But it was like, I'm just gonna have to watch this scene implode.
Well, you know, he was going to die anyway because that thing they told you that would happen to him if he got. You know,
oh yeah, like I lied to him and told him they weren't gonna harm him. I lied to him and told him that they weren't gonna. Like I did a decent amount of lying actually because
I was like, I started at one point and I was like, you know what, dude, if you don't do this, you're gonna be fucked up anyway. And I basically told him, yo, just go ahead and fucking answer.
I would tell you that,
and like he got to the point where he started to go nuclear, and he killed himself and me.
Well, and here's what
he killed me, then he killed himself. Like,
here's what I'll say to you: like, if you go watch me play it, Connor seems bipolar in that because I do both the good and the bad cop.
Yeah, I was trying to do that.
Like,
once I said that
I'm
one thing,
I'm like, come on, blah blah, warning him. And then I blamed him a little bit, and his tension went up a little bit, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, so are you gonna say something? And he was like, no. And then I was like, all right, well, fuck you then. You're gonna die. But are they gonna? I'm like, no, they're not gonna fucking decommission you. So tell me the truth. All right, if you're not gonna say anything, fine. Maybe they should. And this dude is like bouncing between. Eventually, he's like almost.
Yeah, like I forgot what it was I said, but once I said that shit hit the roof. He killed me, and he killed himself, and then boom. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Which is really dope. That's the difference. Because what happens with me is like we finish the interrogation. I get the answers out of him. Like, and he's like, yeah, the dude abused me for years. And eventually I did this thing and it felt good and I felt anger, blah, blah. And like, it gets to the emotional part. And then ultimately, like the guy comes in, like, they're like, all right, cool. We got the confession, time to take him away. And that's where I'm trying to talk like the asshole cop that when you said like, well, let me interrogate him. Because it seems like the partner that I'm working with trusts me a decent amount now. Like he's pretty warmed up.
Oh wow, you got trust for that? It's funny.
Well, because in the like, so my chat. All right, another thing. When he told me to stay in the car, definitely sat there for like 5 to 10 minutes. I sat in that fucking car because I was like, all right, let me see if they actually let me do this.
No, I was like, I'm doing my job. I'm not sitting here.
No, like even the game was like directory tells you to get out. I'm like, no, I'm gonna sit here. He asked me to sit here.
Nah, I'm not here to do a job.
So how quick what happened when you got out of the car and walked past the line?
He asked, you get to go in the house.
Yeah, but what did he say? Like, what was
his like? I told you to stay in the car, and then I told him, look, I'm here to do a job. This is what I'm here for. I said it kind of in a nice way.
Well, he said he was just like, he told the guy at the front, like, yo, he's with me. And he was just like, hey, don't touch anything. Don't
right.
blah, blah.
He was like that. But
and now here's the funny thing. The next thing I immediately did was I went down and tasted the blood. He's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, he did that with me too. And I was like, that's when I got more stern. I was like, yeah,
I was moving the chair. Like I was moving chairs. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm checking something in the attic. And ultimately, like, because they tell you like how their reaction is to you. It said that it said like he was warm towards me. Ultimately, by like the end of the scene. And then in the next scene, like he was super like, he was like, when I was like, hey, I want to go interrogate the guy, he was like, fine, go ahead, do your best, just head on in there. And then the other cop was the dude that was being the dick. So by the time we get to the very end, other cop is trying to like take this dude out. I'm trying to talk him down, be like, yo, chill, give him a minute. If you keep fucking with him, he's gonna do something drastic. Chill. And then he grabs the gun off of one of the officers, shoots himself. And then the cop that I've been working with is like, yo, what the fuck? And that's where the scene cuts.
Yeah, nah, he shot me, and they were in the other room looking, like going, what the fuck?
Well, for me, because like you could sit there, and then it just told me to leave the interrogation. And when I tried to leave the interrogation room was when the other dude busted.
Nah, he shot the fuck out of me.
I feel like I get away because I am willing to play some situations slow. Like I'm willing to play some situations really slow. There were a couple of times where I realized I was playing so slow because like the game was not giving me extra choices because I had to do something to trigger the next part of the scene. Like with Marcus, I literally stood there. I was like, I'm not. I'm just gonna stand here. And they were like, no, you need to stand up off the table. And it got to a point where my chat was like, just stand up. And I was like, it's been 5 minutes, fine. And then it was like, oh, okay, I get another choice. And that's what I think one of the things that is another one of those David Cage things where it's too on the head. The idea should be, if I don't want to do anything, let me not do anything.
But no, it's like any other video game. They say stuff like that, but sometimes you have to progress.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, if you were giving it the full choice, let me say at that point, like, all right, I am done with the scene.
I guess like a time trigger to start, get it to where it is.
Yeah. You know, like how the Far Cry games, the last few have had like secret endings if you don't act for however long.
Yeah. And I it's not my nature. I just go around. I like to poke around the world anyway, so I'm not going to just sit there. I want to see what the hell is going on around here.
But we'll talk more about it as I progress to the game. Because the game is definitely dope. But E3 overall, I'm kind of like, there's so many games to play. I think that's the big thing to me, is I'm kind of overwhelmed.
I love knowing that there's, like, again, even though people want to give that there's nothing to play narrative, that there's just way too much for me in my mind to play.
Yeah, like for me, it's this weird thing where, like, when people keep asking, like, yo, what's your favorite game? What about this? What about this? What about, like, they're all dope looking. Like, Microsoft showed 50 games, and I'm interested in like 45 of them, maybe, if not more. PlayStation showed all of their games, and I'm interested in them. EA showed their shit, and I'm interested in a lot of that. I'm even interested just in the idea of, like, when someone's like, are you really interested in EA? EA has something that I can pay $100 a year and play all of their games. Like, yeah, I'm interested in the games because I still have the chance.
Yeah, even if I don't like somebody, like, I'm not big on Bethesda games, but I saw stuff I would play.
I don't like the Bethesda. I didn't like the Bethesda presentation, but what they showed was compelling. I don't like Fallout and Skyrim super heavy, but the idea of playing a Fallout game with friends and having it be a quasi-online experience with a few dozen streamers, content creators, players seems really fun.
Yeah, you can end up making an interesting world because the build elements and all of that. Yeah.
The stuff that I don't care, like Fallout, the fact that the world seems so vacant to me sometimes in Fallout and Skyrim won't be that when you introduce the human element more frequently. Like, and so I'm interested. Ubisoft, The Division 2, the Rabbids game is still dope. I'm trying to think of everything. Assassin's Creed, like, they all had multiple things that I'm pulling for. The PC Gaming Show had plenty of stuff for me to pull for. And so ultimately, when somebody, like, when you say, like, how we started this off with just, like, name something, like, it's hard. E3 the last few years, especially since Microsoft did the whole, like, hey, yeah, we're moving all of our stuff to PC as well, first party. It became this whirlwind where it's literally like the conferences are just 4 days of stuff I can play.
Yeah.
And people don't get, like, the choice is overwhelming. And so I'm kind of like, I'm going to wait for E3 to end. And I'm just going to look at the next 6 months, 3 to 6 months. What's coming out in the next 6 months? All right, let me pick 5 games to focus on. And then I'll have the other stuff I'll still hear when it comes out the next year. I mean, we already know what January and February and March is going to be like next year.
Yeah.
It's why, like, to me, I can't do these, like, if it's not on my top 10 list, it is not something that is going to, it ends up falling into, or if it's not a game I'm either, like, super invested in or top 10, it's not something that's going to break the, like, all of the noise for me. And I'll be right back. 1 second. So you can keep going.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a packed show. And again, for those who don't know, there's other stuff being shown, stuff that wasn't on stage. So it's not, while it's not over, just off the 3-day whirlwind of EA, Ubisoft, Microsoft, Square. Even though people really hate the Square of the way that they did their thing, you can throw them in there too. Like you said, PC gaming show. Even though I hate Day 9 and hate, well, I don't hate Day 9. I just hated the format that they had before. From what I saw of this year's, they changed the format to a much more palatable format. So that was good as far as presentation. But Sony, all of them, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody in this. Even Devour. Yeah, they all had stuff and did things that piqued my interest. And it gave me a sense of, I wouldn't say it made me overwhelmed like it made him, but it just gave me a sense that good, I will have a lot to do. I will actually have another huge backlog, because same thing with last generation. When I got into it late. This time I got into it early, and I still feel overwhelmed with the backlog because there's so many properties that have come out, not just AAA, but the indie scene. There's a lot of indie stuff. It's funny because we didn't see some things that we saw at previous shows before this, like the guys who made Firewatch. We didn't see their game, even though that's supposed to be a thing, I believe, this year. I know they showed it during one of those interviews on Twitch, but didn't see the last season of The Walking Dead for Telltale. There's also the Overkill Telltale Walking Dead game as well. And then, like, as I've been watching, there's been so many different indie games and smaller titles that they've been popping up. And then Nintendo, that's who I was forgetting. I'm sorry, didn't mean to forget Nintendo. But there's so many like different games and different things, get different flavors for everybody. Like, you're not just stuck with a particular type of game or a particular brand that you really focus on when you look at this year's E3. Like, sure, if you want to go through that who won E3 thing, by all means, go ahead. But I tend to go with that corny cliche thing about how the gamer won, blah, blah, blah. It's corny, but yeah, I mean, I feel good knowing that between my PS4 and my PC, I have a wealth of games to pick for. My friends who have Xboxes or Switches, they have a wealth of games to pick for. They have big titles to pick for. They have big things to get excited about. They get stuff that they love, that they appreciate. It seems like everybody is, I mean, I think every year you can say that, but I feel like this year, if you are a gamer and you don't walk away feeling satisfied from what you saw this E3, something's wrong with you. You're just going out, just like all the talk about how bad Microsoft did because they didn't do anything to help themselves with the Xbox One. I agree. They didn't help themselves as far as the hardware was concerned, but they helped themselves because they've established, a roadmap to where they're going and things that they're going to do. And they have games that people will buy. You may not buy it for the Xbox, but you will buy that game because you want to play it. So personally, I find it very, very difficult to listen to people who have these seriously negative opinions of the way E3 went. Again, I have my negative points, my down points. It generally tends to deal with things like, hey, this presentation was off. I thought they could have did more for this, showed more of this. Most of the stuff that I do is like just personal critique things, but I don't take it as serious, I guess, as other people do. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. I understand passion, but there's no sense that you can't be passionate and reasonable at the same time, in my opinion. It's like people were saying how horrible Microsoft's conference was. It wasn't a bad conference. That conference was good from the standpoint of you got a lot of material, you got a lot of things that were shown. Again, did it necessarily help the Xbox as a piece of hardware itself? Not necessarily. Although if you're someone who already owns one, you will feel compelled. If you don't own one, you are given more of a choice in that because you can get it on PC. Um, and a lot of people are getting gaming PCs anyway, so it helps Microsoft in that standpoint where they're gonna still push software. Hardware, I will still be on my crusade that they're eventually going to just keep the brand and dump the box because the brand is much more important to them than the box. But even with that, Microsoft did a good job. They gave games. It's what you're supposed to do. The Sony blowback. There was a lot of people who were complaining about Sony and how, like, the show was just horrible and they did a bad job. Now, from a presentation standpoint, I would totally agree on the Sony thing being kind of bad, but not that bad. I feel like that first part was the biggest flop where they brought the people to the church for The Last of Us 2 and then had them sit there for like a 10, 15-minute segment. And then they get up and you take another 10 minutes off just so you can shuttle people to the actual venue. I think they should have just stayed at the venue and maybe had a little remote crowd that was with Sean Layden at the church, and then they broadcast that on the main crowd stage so he can make that church connection like he did, which kind of went way too long, but neither here nor there. It could have been transitioned a lot better, and that was the misstep. But Sony kept their word. They said they were going to focus on 4 games. They weren't going to make a lot of grand announcements, and do a lot of talking. Sean Layden actually during that transition, I will say that was the benefit of that weird transition, was that Sean Layden was able to reiterate to people, even though people clearly did not pay attention to what he said, that yes, this is our plan. We're just going to do the 4 focus, and there might be something in between, but for the most part, this show is just all about those 4 games and giving you something significant, some significant content and information about those games. So they did what they needed to do, and the things that they shown were very, very impactful. Like Sony's conference alone, I can think of at least 6 or 7 things probably. Because Resident Evil 2, The Last of Us looks good. Ghost of Tsushima really surprised me. I did not think that game was going to be that good, at least looking that good, as far as the gameplay goes. And then Death Stranding, for me, that's such a no-go. I just really need for somebody to sit me down and lecture me. Give me a couple of courses. Like there should be a why Kojima is so revered and why his games matter class available for people. I would sit there and I would listen to that whoever is in charge speaks and break it down for me, because Death Stranding, gotta tell you, Death Stranding did absolutely nothing to make me interested in it. I feel like right now with that game, for most people, the interest level is all about Kojima. It's just literally, if Kojima's name wasn't on there, I swear this game would get lambasted. You guys would lose your shit over Sony trying to walk this shit out there. Yet, because it's Hideo Kojima, you don't really have to explain what you're doing. Just keep doing it, and we'll love you for it. It just weirds me out. It weirds me out, and to the point where I feel like I have psychological damage trying to figure out this shit, because shit makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, in my opinion. I feel like the whole narrative, on that is just, I don't know. I just don't know. Again, you guys gotta explain this to me. I feel very, very stupid to be if I want to be honest with you. I feel very, very stupid watching Kojima stuff because at the end of the day, I feel like I've lost some type of understanding or appreciation. Like there's something like somewhere in translation. I I missed this. I missed the sign. I missed the sign on the road. Please, somebody. I need you to direct me and let me know why I am supposed to love Kojima the way you guys love him. I mean, people love his stuff. It's like I don't know. I really don't know why you guys have this weird adulation with this guy. But anyway, I'm trying to vamp while he's gone. I know it's obvious, but I can vamp on this because I really, really want to know. Like, I've had several conversations with several people about this whole situation, and it's really, really bugging me, and it's getting on my goddamn nerves that I have no fucking clue as to why this game is so goddamn meaningful. Like, seriously, no one can. Yeah, no one can explain it to me. But it is what it is. Y'all love it. I like it. Fuck it. We're gonna go with that. So just some really quick I guess house cleaning things while he's still doing whatever it is he's doing. And apologies for this segment. I'm not sure how long he's gonna be. So we're just gonna go through some site house cleaning. So thank you again for everybody who has watched all of our podcasts. The Reason We're Born, His Point, Her View, Mouse Clicks Joysticks, the E3 coverage. I really, really appreciate it. Things are going to be expanding, of course. I'm just still working out time frames and things like that, trying to get that all situated. But I really do think that we're at a good place with the channel. Just we're not that big, don't have that big of a followership, but I think with the addition of the podcatcher and Podbean, and once I set up the iTunes feed for that, and the RS feeds I'm starting to post, I think they're going to really, really grow. I think it's going to be good. I mean, we have some solid shows. I have solid people working with me that I really, really appreciate. And so, it's just a matter of time getting things organized and improving. There's a lot of things that I know that we can improve around here, and we're going to try to improve those things for you guys. Seriously. But I just want to say very much appreciate you guys. It's interesting to see people who actually want to listen to you ramble on and talk about things. I find that amazing that you guys appreciate and enjoy our content, and I can just never thank you guys enough. But I guess while I'm flying solo for the foreseeable time, and yes, this is a very, very awkward thing, but you guys know me. I can talk myself enough, talk enough to cover things. Hopefully, he won't be gone much too longer. So second thing that I wanted to address, and I guess I'll address it if he comes back. Second thing that was on my mind with E3 is like the biggest standouts. I wanted to know what his biggest disappointments were. I'll just go ahead and start since I'm by myself. And you guys, feel free to comment in the comment section and let us know what were your overall thoughts of E3's conferences, what stood out the most to you, and what disappointed you the most. I think for me, the Anthem segment for EA was the biggest disappointment because I was expecting something more, and I feel like I didn't get enough to make me at least have an idea of what I'm going to get. It's not as egregious as Death Stranding, that's for sure. But I just feel like, okay, I know what type of game is and all that, but make me interested in this world. I know big mechs is like very, very appealing. People love to be mechs and wreck shit. Having your, different javelins, as they like to call them, which I still don't think is the best name in the world, but that is what they want to call it. So, feel free. If that's what you think, it's cool. I guess question mark. But yeah, nah. I just left the whole Anthem thing thinking, okay, you didn't really do a good job of pushing this. I know people are still hyped on it and they're going to be high for it, but I just didn't find myself being that hyped for it. I don't know if I could think of anything else that I could find myself being disappointed in. Because seriously, there was just a lot of stuff that I saw that was very, very interesting and that I very much liked. So yeah, being the dissatisfied thing is kind of hard for me because anything that I wasn't really interested in wasn't going to faze me. Just like the Death Stranding thing only bothers me because of the whole aura and specter around it. That being said, it wasn't disappointing. It looks good. Looks trippy. We'll see how good it is. We'll see what it was about eventually. But there was no disappointment to me. And it was weirdly short, and just a bunch of like tied together, segments. But what they showed was fine. I didn't feel like I missed out on anything by being there. By watching that, it was cool. Oh, who else was out there that possibly could disappoint? Wow, you just made me vamp for I don't know how long, and my voice is tired as hell.
I'm sorry.
No, because it's like it's been a long day at work, and it's been a long day at other things. It's like, I have to hold the show alone. But sorry, hopefully I didn't bore you guys to death while I was talking about that stuff. But no, I'd asked the second question about what disappointed you the most about this year's E3. And I couldn't really think of anything but Anthem.
Gamers.
Oh, that's their disappointment every year, so I don't count them.
It feels like it's a community that splits itself in two a lot, where they talk out of both sides.
They split themselves in way more pieces than two.
Well, I'm saying like they talk out of both sides of their mouth. We want this, but we don't want this. We want that, but we don't want that. And I'm like, all right, cool. Anthem, I don't think I was disappointed because I think there's still a lot to show for Anthem.
Yeah, and I guess that's where my disappointment is. Like, you've had all this time and you hype this moment. Like, we're bringing it. And it's like, oh, okay.
Until something is, I don't know. This year's E3, I ended up coming out pretty happy. A lot of my frustration just came from like the side conversations that exist. Oh, well, Microsoft didn't sell me. Why do you care that Microsoft didn't try to sell you an Xbox? Do you want to be sold an Xbox? Why does that matter? Like, where do you grow? Like, where do you?
Well, no, I kind of mentioned that. Like, yeah, Microsoft didn't do any themselves a favor as far as pushing that piece of hardware. That being said, that doesn't mean that they're disappointing. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, okay, whatever the marketing strategy is, clearly it's not necessarily just to beg you to buy an Xbox.
I kind of feel like, but that's what people want. That's what it's felt like lately.
And
people like the idea is like that got me at one point was I realized at some point during this year, people don't want honesty, they want marketing, and they want marketing targeted towards them.
Yeah, and see, I think
that frustrates me because it's the idea of, and it's not new. It's not something that should surprise me, but I always have this like hope that, like, when gamers like, hey, Deb, stop being dicks and treat me like an adult, and then you see something where it's like, hey, this dev is treating them like an adult. Like, hey, we're gonna let Microsoft is like, hey, we're gonna show you some stuff, and we're gonna let you make the decision of whether or not it's worth to buy an Xbox. Hey, why aren't you making the thing that would make me want to buy an Xbox? Hey, why aren't you targeting me to make me want to buy an Xbox? The only one that's stopping you from buying an Xbox is you. Like, if you want one, buy one. I don't own one because I sold mine because I felt like I didn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that Microsoft gave me the ability to make that choice. The ability to say, like, hey, this isn't something that's necessary in my life, but the company respects me enough to still give me the option to be a part of their community. And this year felt like a lot of like, yo, but you don't need an Xbox. Nothing in that show made you want to play those games. Why does it matter if you play it on Xbox or not? Because Xbox labeled it their conference. And so it was this weird thing of like reading social media stuff and just sitting back and saying, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, I can't. It feels like everybody wants to be a critic, and most people have forgotten just to have fun. How to just have fun.
Well, I think another thing too is people aren't recognizing what's going on now. Like the ecosystem, the landscape, however you want to frame it, is changing as far as how these companies go about. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like I was talking about how everybody's talking about these conferences sucked.
Yeah,
I think one of the reasons why people think saying these conferences sucked or they were like kind of disappointed in them is they don't want them to change from what they were. I would say 6-7 years ago, as the last generation started to wind down, we were still in the like it's a war type mentality. I think even with the way press conferences were presented. And slowly but surely, these companies are pulling back from that. It's a war thing. They're just going to do their thing. They're going to just show their stuff. They don't want the grand presentations. They don't want the big things. Like, again, like I said to you the other day, I think 2013 was the last time that you truly were ever going to see that big, I'm going to take shots.
Yeah, and that's what I'm happy about. Like,
because,
and that's something that I've come to appreciate. Like, it to me as an adult allowed me to go back and 100. Like, it felt I don't have to ever worry about somebody else is gonna say something and then I'm gonna respond because it's just the nature of saying something to say something, and people like having conversation that inevitably turns into arguing or whatever. But like now it felt like this year was a year where I could just have fun. I could be a kid again, just looking at all the games and have fun. Like, I phrased it again. If somebody were to ask me last night, I tweeted out when I was going live, like, who won E3?
Yeah,
that's the content creation and business side. Like, you ask the question because that's what's getting searched. You ask the question because that's what gets noticed. Like, ultimately, the question is gamers, and that's because that's what E3 is supposed to do. If somebody wins E3, then there's something wrong. If that answer to me is
the reality is that there never really was a winner. It's just the whole. It's the perception that we grew and we fostered within the whole thing as to these companies need to get in here and take shots at each other, and we had to see who takes the biggest shot and who won up one other. And I think this is part of my whole one of my frustrations with the power of social media, and in particular content creators, is that loud noise that they can make can lead things to go in a direction that they don't need to be. Like, we didn't need Microsoft didn't need the do bro era with last generation.
Yeah.
I think if anything, all that did was just make their, as people like to call it now, quote unquote, fall that much harder, because you get the sense that their hubris was just out of control. And then now all of a sudden, the shit talker has been taken out of peg. And I think people now are getting satisfaction out of way too much satisfaction out of that than they need to. When in truth, Microsoft's not broken. They're not out of the running. They're not the business. It's like, I really feel like people overhyped it, like, oh my God, how they're just so bad at this. And yeah, their narrative, their marketing plans, or how they present things has slightly improved, and it still has issues, but it's not like anything that's so horrendous that I won't even say they can't recover, because what do they have to recover for? The system's selling well. It's just that people make their whole thing, they take the perception and they over exaggerate it. Like, yeah, me personally, from a business standpoint, I think they made some like really questionable moves and things that they probably should have did, but I'm not sitting here killing them over it. I'm not going to go. And that's the thing. We like the spectacle of being able to make fun of things. And these companies have gotten past that part. They realize, like, especially as gamers mature and these games start to be more about the storytelling and the worlds that it could create and the different ideas and social commentary, gaming has grown up. And it seems like there's a set of gamers that just don't want to grow beyond like a particular type of way of looking at things. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. It's one of the reasons why I kind of try to keep myself from listening to a lot of people. I mean, I still enjoy seeing some content about people, but that's another thing. You have the content creator crowd that basically likes to stir the hornet's net, because that draws attention to them as well. And it's like, I can't listen to the game. I agree. Gamers are probably the most disappointing thing, because I can't see how you see all these games that look really, really good and feel disappointed. I may not have enjoyed your show like Bethesda, but I thought your content was cool. And I don't know why people can't just do that. But yeah, this show sucked, but yo, they had some great stuff. It's not that hard. I don't know. Was there anything else that disappointed you, or?
I mean, that's the weird thing to me. It's like I sit here and look at it, I'm like, where it's like, hey, I would love to have seen a lot more from Anthem. Yeah. I would have loved to see more. Like, of all the games I enjoy, I would want to see more of, which is most of the stuff. And so, yeah, it's disappointing, but I don't think that, like, none of it, I don't know how to phrase it. Like, it's disappointing, but it didn't leave me feeling negative about anything.
You think we can do something mid-fully?
Yeah, no, I didn't feel like, I didn't feel like, something's wrong with the industry, and I'm not gonna, like, I need to get rid of my PlayStation or just don't buy another game or PC or anything. I'm more actually excited for the future. I'll take that back. I do have something that just really did disappoint me. You guys put out so much shit that now I'm going to be broke for the next 2 years, and I'm disappointed in you for that. That's the biggest thing, and that's the sad thing, that's the biggest thing I can be disappointed about, is that they were going to kill my wallet. That's not a bad thing. That means I have choices and things to get.
I am somebody to say like I'm not thinking that, and more of I literally have enough games to play for the next like 3 to 5 years now.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't announce anything else. Even if I don't buy most, which I'm not, I probably won't end up buying most of these at launch. Even if I don't, 2 weeks down the road, 3 weeks down the road, 6 months down the road, I have something to play.
Yeah. No, I was good. So the disappointment thing is something that we don't really have disappointment on, I guess. But I guess the last and final question is, of course, next year. What are you expecting to see with E3 going forward?
New consoles, I think, will be announced. I don't think they'll release. It'll be one of those like, hey, we'll announce it and we'll give you a release date sometime next year, and it'll be fall of 2020 when we will actually see them on the market. Beyond that, Halo from Microsoft is gonna probably be at least in a more concrete state than this year's. PlayStation will 2019 is supposed to be Last of Us, right?
Yes.
PlayStation will pick its next big player. So we're either going to get like a sequel to something like maybe Horizon by 2020, late 2019. No, because I think that would be, there's still going to be games for that. So yeah, 2020, and we'll start to move and show whatever is going to lead the PlayStation 5 as the charge. And then for
that will be Death Stranding.
We'll actually probably get a chance to see some more of not Elder Scrolls 6, but whatever the other game. I forget the name of the game that Bethesda announced. EA might bring up like a Skate 4 or something. We'll see the Star Wars game, maybe. I don't think that's
still Skate 4.
I do. If Sessions does even remotely well, there'll be a Skate 4. We'll see the season pass stuff for Anthem. Ubi is just going to keep going. Ubi will probably give a release date for next year for Beyond Good and Evil.
You don't think they'll do it this year?
They didn't, and I don't think Beyond Good and Evil. They're still calling it pre-alpha footage, so they're not. I don't think they're that close to being launch ready.
I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to announce something for this year, but I'm saying they'll announce.
I don't think the game's coming out next year. Even if they announce a release date, I think it's just a release date to try to keep the game in talk, and ultimately it's not coming out next year. Which is why I wouldn't expect them to announce it until, just like they did this year, how they announced it last year. They went mad silent. There were a few gameplay leaks to come out, but ultimately it was mad silent. And then Square's hopefully going to have Final Fantasy there next year. Nintendo is going to keep doing what Nintendo does. They have plenty of franchises and plenty of stuff to work on. So Nintendo has plenty to add. If they didn't announce a Star Fox game, or next year they're supposed to have an actual Pokemon game as well, a traditional Pokemon game coming out. So everybody has stuff to show next year. I think this year was kind of like this year was the result of last year and the past couple of years of E3, of us kind of, we're in that second half of the generation where everybody has things to show, and we're just kind of moving until we show and ship one thing, and then we start showing to ship the next thing. And so every 2 to 3 years ends up being a cycle of like, here's something announced, here's it shown, here's it out, here's something announced, here's it shown, here's it out, and it rinses and repeats for 2 to 3 years. So next year I think is going to be just as announcement heavy, or more. It'll be more announcement heavy and less like, hey, this is coming out ridiculously soon.
I don't know. You got a lot of stuff on the table that they could make a shit ton of announcements next year.
I don't think I can get there in time, but I'm running too.
It's a lot of things that could come out. I'm looking at this Jurassic Park commercial, and they're running in a hotel. Interesting. So they get off the island. Yay! They finally get off the island. and do something. Anyway, like I care. Now, I think what you're gonna see is just E3 slowly evolve into what it's doing. I think these conferences are becoming less important, and I think next year you're gonna see them be even more less important. I think that's why Sony can do what they do and buck the tradition.
Shit. We're gonna take you through our showcase, our experience.
What?
That's what they did.
Yeah. No, I mean, the time of the getting on stage and making the big grandiose announcements and the gloating over numbers and all of that stuff and having the celebrity run-ins, like deep celebrity run, like EA's never going to get over that because that's EA. It's just that's their pedigree. They will never get over that dumb shit. But everybody else is like, yeah, we got something to show you. We're gonna show it to you. You like it? Cool. Like unless it's something like, think back to the Microsoft one. The stage announcements that they made were stuff about products that they're or like game planning, like with the cloud service and what they're doing with Game Pass and stuff like that. You're not going to get these long, like crazy things. I think you will get at minimum now what Sean Layton did. He'll come out and he'll thank people and then he'll run away and never to be seen again.
Oh, I can appreciate that we didn't get we have sold 13 million.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we didn't fucking.
Yeah. No, he just I mean, he did get a little over the top with the church thing, but at the same time, it was just him doing the intro, thanking people for coming, hoping that they enjoy the experience and like, let's show you what we got. Boom. I'm out. I'm not going to get in your face. I'm not going to tell the corny jokes. I'm not going to have to read a teleprompter. Again, like I kind of feel like Sony kind of, in a way, threw a middle finger up to Devour.
Yeah, because
of how they really did the whole making fun of the guy on stage thing and all of that. And then Sony was like, nah, we don't do that number B. What you talking about? Yeah. So I like that. Like I know, again, I told you, I think I told you I listened to a podcast where they were mad at that, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And it's like I just realized that people aren't used to the fact that we're not getting the same. I come at you, and then you come back, and we do this all again at the next thing because, like, Gamescom has become significantly less than what it was. That used to be Battleground 2 for you to try to get a punch back. But now it's just like Sony don't do shit there. Sony goes to Paris and caters to the European market there. Microsoft now has scaled that back. It's like, there's no reason for us to do this big deal. We'll do a day where we'll go live and show shit, but that whole big grand press conference thing is out the window. It's like pretty much again. EA seems the only people who feel the need to do all this stuff the way that you used to do it, So even with ePlay being on a different day and in a different venue, they still hold to the old traditional E3 or big press conference type spiel type thing. But everybody else is just like, nah, we'll do like a short broadcast or we'll do on the floor interview type stuff, but we don't need to there's no more Battleground no more. Like the Battleground, the lines that we cross in the sand for you to step over, it's just, look, I'm gonna tell you what we got, you tell me what you got, and we'll see who people prefer. That's it. And that's just all it is. It's no more posturing, grandstanding, anything like that. I think we've left that. At least, hopefully, we've completely left that. At least the companies have. The gaming community, no. But the companies have grown up. Eventually, the gaming community will grow up.
You have hope.
There's always hope, as Ray said. I'm that person. Yeah. I mean, no. E3, it was cool. I was very, very pleased with what I saw, and I'm still being pleased by other stuff that I need to go and review and see what was announced, because I'm sure there was a shit ton of stuff that I'm going to be buying.
There's a bunch of little games that are being announced.
Yeah, I know, and there's still stuff that you know that's floating out there that they could announce on. That's the beauty of it. It's like they do these big floor things now, and then don't we have Jeff Keighley's bullshit coming? Ain't he doing something?
All Access or whatever.
Yeah, ain't he doing some crazy shit?
Yeah, I think that's already out there.
So we get to see if he finally gets to lay his hand upon his Jesus and touch the hem of his robe.
I'm gonna need you to calm down, sir.
No, that man, like, he fucking deifies the hell out of Kojima.
No.
Yes, he does.
Nah.
He does.
Let it go.
It's scary. I'm sure if I'm Kojima, I have a restraining order on him.
Yeah, I don't have volts or anything.
Nope.
Really,
I'm done with you.
He's
Stop.
probably in Kojima's hotel room right now trying to steal his underwear or something.
This is why we'll never get a chance to talk to Jeff Keighley.
That's fine. You can talk to him. You're fine. You didn't say anything. You can interview him, because the first question is like, why do you love this man so much? That's all I want to know, bro. And then I'll probably play Sam Cooke's the hem of his robe, just so he can wax poetic to some gospel music. Sir?
So yeah.
All right, take us out of this, because I'm gonna say something stupid.
Yeah, I was gonna let the awkwardness hang for a little bit longer. E3 was dope. Fun year. Amazingly fun time to like get into and to just spend time to hang around and to do shit. So I had fun. I hope Black did as well. We will probably be back next week with a normal show, right?
Yep. Although next week will be kind of boring. I think next week we can just talk.
No,
Detroit.
it will be normal.
No, I'm saying we could just talk Detroit. Is what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to finish it by then.
I mean, you don't have to finish. I just wanted to talk more and see how you feel on certain things, because, like I said, you're gonna get to the survey pretty soon.
Okay.
The survey itself is just a great thing to talk about in that game. Like, it's a really good social talk piece.
We will see.
Yeah. But all right. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We will see you next week with another episode. Take it easy, and we will talk to you later. Peace.
Peace.